Hi.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show where we're constantly trying to fix democracy in questionable ways, just like everybody else. And I come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Thursday. It is Thursday. It was a trying Thursday because it's been a trying week. It's been a week of, for me, 2 migraines in a row, and I'm not talking in euphemistic terms. I mean, on Tuesday and Wednesday, I had individual migraine experiences, both of which, shot me in the foot, more or less, for 48 hours straight, and the ramifications of which have carried over into today. I needed to take a nap earlier, so hopefully I'm still awake now and will be functional for the totality of this broadcast. If I suddenly go silent, there are several options. But either way, before we get into tonight's topic, which is a complex topic, well, not really, who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? Advocatus Diaboli, good evening. Adabisi, hello. Mike R, hello. JB, good evening. Kieverdam, hello, and thank you, Kieverdam, as always, for providing the link to our friend Angela Arriaga's GoFundMe for her home-based business. Guys, please take a look at that GoFundMe pinned to the top of the chat box when you have the opportunity. If you can donate, please do so. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. And so thank you ahead of time for that. And thank you, Kieverdam, for providing the link. Blue-Eyed Scream, good evening. Adam Nixon, hello. The Alexander, hello. Who else is here? JPS, hello. And also, the Alexander says, good evening, everyone. Yesterday was my birthday. Really? You were born yesterday? Wow. Well, I will handle that momentarily, Alexander. Who else is here? Malachi D. Wildman, good evening. Yes, happy birthday to Alexander. Everybody say happy birthday, Alexander. Kiro Soldier, hello. Corey Suzuki, good evening. Robert Pincus, hello. Holy cats, Derek LaRue. Good evening to you, Derek LaRue, and thank you, Derek, so much, as always, for your continued generosity and support. It's very, very nice of you. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good evening, and I hope you enjoy the show. Who else is here? The lovely Sherry is here. Hello, lovely Sherry. Nice to see you. And, Kiro Soldier, thank you so much as well. Had sushi yesterday, went into full hibernation. Yes, I do like me some good sushi. I like the spicy California roll. I'm particularly partial to the California roll. It has to be a good California roll. A spicy California roll. Yumma. Thank you, Kiro Soldier. Hope the sushi was good. Also, JPS, again, thank you for the #1 smiley Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wow-wee! Wow! Wow!
Ooh, that's a drunkle Dogcat Fox. Thank you, JPS. Appreciate it. And Angelverse is here. Hello, Angelverse. But, so first, before I begin, Alexander, your birthday was yesterday. And yesterday, birthdays were such an easy game to play. But with that, do you want a serious birthday song, or do you want like a silly birthday song? I only have 2 modes. I have 2 gears, serious or silly. So you let me know in the chat which one you like. And Walter Tomaszewski, Scribe, my cats and I await your jokes. I'm a living joke, so here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. So let me know. But Alexander, do you want serious or silly? I leave the choice to you. I'll wait a moment here. Hopefully he's still listening. I didn't lose him along the way. Otherwise, I have to pick. And if I have to pick, who knows what's going to happen. Let's see what else is going on. Anything else to mention in the meantime? Kiro Soldier, if you come to Austin, you have to try Sushi Junai. All you can eat sushi. And made to order. It's my favorite restaurant here in Austin. Oh, man. I'd get fat. All you can eat. I probably wouldn't eat that much, honestly. Maybe Walter Tomaszewski. Maybe Alexander has taken a powder. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Alexander, if and when you come back or make a decision, let me know in the chat, and I will pause to sing you happy birthday. But in the meantime, let's talk about tonight's subject. So, it's... Well, I was thinking about this before the show. I don't often have genres of TEDx talks that I look at, and it really is difficult for me to say I have subgenres of genres in TEDx, but I think we've alighted upon one here. And I'll explain in a moment. First off, the title of today's presentation is Why You Should Be Able to Vote on Your Phone. And when I saw this title, I flashed back. Not in some kind of LSD kind of thing. No, I flashed back to a TEDx talk that I looked at many, many, many years ago, 7 or 6 years ago or something. A link to that talk, if you're interested, this is one of my older scripted TEDXcellences, is in the description below. You may have to refresh, those of you who got here early. I added it just before the stream started. And so the subgenre, the genre is How to Fix Democracy. There have been several TEDx's we've looked at over the years that have proposed, well, democracy is broken, how do we fix it? Usually those talks are put on by people who lost the previous election. And that goes for people on either side of the aisle. It all depends on the cycle. So yeah, democracy's broken because, well, we lost, or there's a threat to it and we have to fix it before the other side can win again. The subgenre to that is fixing democracy through technology. And so when I saw tonight's title, I immediately flashed back in the bank memory of lore, or the memory bank of lore that I have on TEDx Talks, to that old talk. I won't get into it because I don't want to ruin my thoughts or my sort of preconceived biases about what might be said in tonight's talk. But if you're curious, it's one that I think still holds up even today, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence. But the algorithmic democracy, I think I called it, is linked in the description below. But so ahead of time I thought, we're going to affect the voting system through technology. Oh, what possible wonders and dangers might await us? I suppose we'll find out as we go. Catherine H. Kickin' Chicken. Hey, caught you live. Driving home to eat some Chinese. Oh, we had sushi. We got Chinese. We need some like Thai food and we'll be all set. And you caught me live like I'm a fish or something. Well, hey, that goes with this whole sushi thing. Well, hello, Catherine H. Kickin' Chicken. Drive safely. Don't get distracted. And I'll try to verbally describe anything of note as the talk goes on in case he puts up some cards or something. Theater Wench Ginger. Good evening. Anybody else before I go on? Did Alexander get back to me on Serious or Silly? Did I miss it? I don't think so. I think maybe he went somewhere else for a while. Okay, well, if anybody sees Alexander come back into the chat and he missed the fact that I was asking for a Serious or Silly song, nudge him to do so and then put a bunch of alarms around it in the chat to tell me that it's time to do a birthday song. Senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Every day is a yay with Colleen Bernier. Not Thai. I had some homemade KFC chicken tonight. Homemade KFC chicken. Wait a second. Where did you get the secret recipe of herbs and spices? That doesn't make any sense. Unless Colleen Bernier is Colonel Bernier. Uh-oh. Is Bernier like French for Sanders or something? I don't know. Oh, and Kieverdam had China. Everybody just tell me what kind of food you had for dinner tonight. What ethnicity of food? What kind? We got Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's Kentucky's an ethnicity. Sure, why not? Chinese food, sushi. Theater Winch Gingers. I plan on making a Thai red curry soon. That's spicy. That's a spicy meatball. So we'll show off our. Oh, Adam Nixon had some pizza. So American. It's like actual pizza is a lot different. Anyway, what did I have for dinner? I had some sweet and sour chicken. So I guess it's Asian-ish, but I bought it from a grocery store, so it's... Anyway, chicken marsala. It's just chicken all the way down, guys. But I have no segue from that to this. Tonight's bingo card is bingo card C. C for chicken. Sure, why not? C for chicken. Links to the bingo cards are in the description below. If you'd like to join in on the poll each week to choose the bingo card, you just have to follow me on X, scribe_light. Get your bingo cards ready. Bingo card C's. Tonight's presentation lasts just over 11 minutes. And again, we are going to be discussing why you should be able to vote on your phone. I'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed.
So let me ask you a question.
I love questions. I'll give you an answer. Can't promise it'll be the right answer, but I'll have an answer for you. You guys hear that okay? Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you a question. Adebisi, because Nigerian dishes are actually the best in the world. Well, I think somebody's biased. I just got a feeling. JPS, I had deep dish pizza with cut buffalo wings as a topping. Good gravy. Keeverdam, Scribelight, why not Oshi fried chicken? Oshi fried chicken? What could you possibly be talking about? This is my friend Satsu, aka Chef Tyrone, founder, owner, and CEO of Oishi Fried Chicken LLC, featuring a new line of signature spice mixes. Chef Tyrone's homemade blends are the perfect gateway to delicious fried chicken or any other protein you might prefer. These recipes were painstakingly tested in Tyrone's home kitchen to bring you all the fantastic flavors you and your family can enjoy. The current flavor lineup includes original, spicy, lemon garlic herb, barbecue rub, and taco seasoning. You can buy individual packs of your favorite flavors or save some money with a variety bundle, all through the online store. And Oishi Fried Chicken ships nationwide. Go to www.oishifc.com and order today. And just as a note, Satsu, aka Chef Tyrone, he sent me a photograph of a, I don't know if it's meant for public consumption, so to speak. Well, no, it's meant for public consumption. The product is. But he sent me a picture of what I think is a prototype enhancement to his product of chicken spices. Or sorry, protein spices. So it may be coming soon to a store near you. But if he shows up, then maybe we can talk about it more. I don't know if it was sent to me in confidence or something. It's not like some super duper secret. It's just like, hey, look at this, and I'm like, ooh, that's cool. But he's upgrading his product line. So yeah, for all of you out there who have had chicken in part of your meals tonight, or just want to put some spices on your regular food, check out Oishi Fried Chicken. Anyway, you guys can hear it. Let me ask you a question.
How many of you do your banking, your healthcare on your phones?
Not me. I don't own a smartphone. Well, I mean, the most banking I do on the phone is when, like, I have to get that confirmation code on my phone to be able to log into a website kind of thing. That's about as close as I get. But as far as, like, actual transactions and so on, yeah, I can't because I don't have a smartphone. I have a dumb phone, so I don't. What about you?
Right, of course you do.
Well, okay, mind reading assumes motives. Before we even begin, really, 8 seconds into the talk, circling mind reading assumes motives. Of course you do. Of course you do. Everybody does. Circling that one and circling free space. Okay, I'll get more into the bingo card later. Remember, this is bingo card C, so get your bingo cards ready if you haven't already. And also, the old guy, Mr. Scribe, Mr. Old Guy. Hello. All right.
How about like your love life, your entertainment, travel planning, all that kind of stuff?
No.
Right.
No.
How many of you vote on your phones?
I mean, vote with your wallet?
That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
So I spent the first 15 years of my career working in U.S. government and politics.
15 years of your career in U.S. government and politics. All right, so we have an expert, at least in politics. I'd say 15 years is a good enough time. Well, I guess it depends on what he was doing.
City government, state government, federal government, you name it. I saw it from pretty much every angle.
Okay, well, this is a TED Talk, guys, by the way. This is not a TEDx Talk. This is an official TED Talk. So we have a cream of the crop, top of the heap, a number one expert in politics.
And the main thing that I took away from it, really more than anything else, is why politicians make the decisions they make.
Well, one would hope, but it's not always the case, that they are representing the constituency that put them into the office and seeing, purportedly, to the overall welfare of their represented constituents, but probably also pushed by their own personal ethics or morals, or who's writing the biggest checks to their campaign funds. It all depends. It's a beautiful tapestry of possible influences. Also, the Mr. E triumvirate. The man of three is under the chat. Mr. E, when did you split into three? And have you started a religion by chance? Hope you're doing well this evening.
Is it based on what they believe in? No.
Are you never?
Is it what's best for their city or their state or their country? Not really.
I mean, if I let the most cynical parts of myself overtake the rest of me, sure, but, there's still... Hope springs eternal that a good portion of our politicians on some level are trying to do the right thing. Now, those who would be considered career politicians, a title I don't think should exist, in my opinion. More questionable. I think the longer you stay in politics, the further away you move from such things. But, all right, so we have a decided cynic.
How about what's best for their constituents specifically? Not even that.
Okay, well, tell me true. What does move the needle?
It's actually a lot simpler.
Okay.
Virtually every politician makes every decision solely based on winning the next election and nothing else.
Okay, I can believe it. And so now you're going to connect that motivation. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that is the primary motivation of every politician. And this is going to circle back to using your phone to vote. How?
And that's true for the next election and then the next election after that.
That was an applause line? Okay.
And it's a problem in democracies all over the world, but it's especially pervasive in the United States because we have this corrupt practice known as gerrymandering.
Corrupt practice known as gerrymandering. Which obviously only one side of the aisle ever practices, right?
And what that allows the two political parties to...
Okay. There's been a lot of talk recently of certain redistricting taking place, and I've seen the Democrats complaining about the GOP redistricting, I think in Texas or elsewise. And I'm just like, you guys redistrict too. Both parties. And by the way, it's actually gerrymandering. Just to act as a snob for a second, the gentleman after which the process is named, his last name was pronounced Gary, Gerry, not Jerry, but it's kind of become a colloquialism to call it gerrymandering. It's gerrymandering. Just to be a snob.
And what that allows the two political parties to do is divvy up all the legislative districts so that as a result, the only election that ever really matters is the party primary. Now, we had a big election last fall. You guys might have heard something about it.
Maybe just a little bit. And I'll be looking forward to the next big election. I got a couple of stories for the Saturday stream this weekend that are at least peripherally tied to the potential 2028 election.
And in that election, about 2/3 of Americans voted, but that was for president.
Yep.
I live in New York City. In 2023, we had city council primaries. Turnout was 7.2%.
Wow. The speaker in the other TEDx talk, again, linked in the description from years ago, also brought up New York elections as an example of lack of participation in elections. Interesting.
So I don't know if you guys have ever been to New York, but if you have, you will know we are not a shy people. And yet in this city of 8.5 million highly opinionated people, you could win a council seat with just 8,000 votes.
Okay, so far we have brought up the corrupt, or let's say self-serving motivation of politicians in their decision-making process. And we've brought up the, let's just say, apathy of the electorate to participate in elections. Okay, so he has so far established two problems with the, let's say, the democratic process, even though this country is not a democracy, but, you know, democratic processes in general. Okay, so as we're going, you guys know how my brain works. Like, okay, you're setting up these problems. I expect there to be an offering of a solution, but you've already tied whatever solution is going to be offered to smartphones. So how is voting on your smartphone going to cure us of the problems of cynical politicians and apathetic electorate?
And the same thing is true in state legislative races, congressional, mayoral, you name it, and it's true everywhere.
It's true everywhere. Even though he's only used a couple of numbers so far, I'm inclined to circle deceptive statistics, because generalizations here are just a little bit, I don't know. We'll talk about it. Antler the Mad, good evening. Random American, hello. Analin, hello. I would like 1,000 phones to have 1,000 votes, please. Now, don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead to my own questions. I'm the guy running the show here. Don't get ahead of me. Again, I haven't watched this yet, so yeah, these concerns and questions that I have run along the same line there. Simon Willikins, hello, and I've got a huge cluster of SFX to move. Yeah, or FTX or whatever. Yeah. Oh man. All right.
So who are those voters?
I don't know.
They're typically the far right.
The far right.
Or the far left.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you're being fair and balanced.
Or special interests that know how to move money and votes in low turnout elections.
Okay, so only the extremists and the power brokers vote. Is that it?
They dictate not only who wins office, but then what happens once they're in office.
Okay, so the entire system is corrupt and broken. And voting by phone is going to cure us of these ailments. How?
And that gets us one of two types of government.
Okay.
Either the chaos and dysfunction that we call Washington, D.C. Or totally one-sided governments, whether it's the state of Texas on the right or the city of San Francisco on the left.
Well, we have all of those at the same time. But anyway, who else is here? Tyrannus. Oh, sorry. Pope Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich. Again, maybe this was the way it was last time. You keep promoting yourself, or being promoted. Do you absorb other liches or other creatures to constantly add new qualifiers to your titles? I assume that's how it works. You know. Plague Trucker Zach, salutations. Why, felicitations, dear sir. Good evening to you. Are you in fine fettle on this eve?
And if we were truly hopelessly divided, if we just couldn't agree on any issue, that'd be one thing.
That would be one thing.
But we're not.
Oh.
Most people agree on the solutions to most issues,
Really? Give me some examples.
whether it's education or healthcare.
Most people agree on the solutions to the issues of education or healthcare. Okay, well, by all means, what is the generally accepted grand unification theory for education? What is the most popular and generalized solution for healthcare? As though healthcare were like one thing. Gonna tell us, or do I have to circle leaves out vital context?
Or climate, or
What?
taxes.
Yeah, because as we know, there's only one really popular quote-unquote solution for climate and only one quote-unquote real popular solution for taxes.
Or let's take guns as an example.
Sure, let's take guns as an example where most people agree on the quote-unquote solution. All right, so you named off a whole bunch of stuff, but we're going to land on guns. All right, what is the solution to guns?
The vast majority of Americans would say that we should neither confiscate everyone's guns,
Okay.
but nor should it be easy to walk into a store and walk out with an assault rifle.
I guess it. I don't know the numbers on that. I don't know the polling on that. The Constitution says the people's, and I am paraphrasing because I admit I have not memorized the Second Amendment, but the people's right to bear arms shall not be infringed. It's that shall not be infringed part and the people and those two things combined that kind of make it difficult to put too many unreasonable restrictions on access to firearms. But even though shall not be infringed is in the amendment, we have gun laws. So there are infringements, there are obstacles, there are complications to acquiring firearms despite the language in the Second Amendment. So, it's a give and a take. But, okay, maybe. I'll say that what he's just said is maybe a generally accepted line of thinking.
But the problem is, those Americans, the people in the center, the people in the middle, they don't vote in primaries. So politicians ignore their views and cater only to the extremes.
Or they ignore coming up with a solution, if there is a solution to be had on either side, because they are useful wedge issues. And it doesn't matter if the majority of the Americans wanted one thing or another, so long as they can use it to drum up more donations for their next campaign, because like you said, their main driver is just winning the next election. This is why the can was kicked down the road over and over and over and over again for decades on abortion, because it was too useful of a tool, election after election, as a wedge to drum up support for one candidate or the other, or, bring it up during a Supreme Court nomination or something, until finally it just got taken care of, right? So, anyway, maybe I'm just cynical. But someone who's not cynical in any way, shape, or form. I may be hyperbolic there. I don't know. Miranda Stone. Do you guys know about Miranda Stone? Well, let me tell you, if you don't know about Miranda Stone...
And when the next school shooting happens, and it will happen, all of us are going to bang our heads against the wall and say, why can't our politicians just do the right thing for once?
Because a locked door only keeps out an honest man. 9 times out of 10, the events you're speaking of, it was some kid who stole a gun that was rightfully owned by somebody else. Whether or not it was secured correctly or not is a separate issue, but a criminal is not going to follow the laws. I don't know what to tell you. Adabisi, thank you so much. Dude lives in a bubble, so he thinks we think alike. Well, I mean, he's generalizing, he's projecting. I'm waiting for this grand solution to the problem, right? I mean, this is all supposed to be about voting. So now we have self-interested politicians who don't listen to their constituents and are only concerned with winning the next election. We have cynical and or apathetic electorate not voting in the right things. And now we have a generalized agreement by all Americans on a raft of issues, including gun control, health care, taxes, etc. When do we get to the whole pitch? Because here's the thing. This is going to be a sales pitch. He is leading up to a sales pitch. But he better get moving because he's 4 minutes in to an 11-minute talk. And time is a-wasting.
Why?
Try Bud Dry?
I'll tell you why.
Oh, tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I'm watching TEDx.
Because they're held hostage by the extremes. They're stuck. We have to free them from their clutches.
Free them from their clutches. Oh, good sir, please free me from this prison of indecision in my political conduct. What shall I do? Please, tell me. Save me, sir, save me.
We have to make it possible for them to move back to the middle. And the only way to do that is to get a lot more people voting. And the only way to do that is to meet the people where they are.
Meet the people where they are. All right, well, maybe finally after 4 minutes he's getting to it. Over in the chat, Pope Tyrannus, deceptive statistics. The word most is being deceptive by both not giving a number, and if he did give a number, it would be a lie to favor him, unless said 50-50, and that wouldn't be most. Yeah, he has given some numbers and some percentiles, but he is drastically overplaying the idea that there's some generalized accord on all those issues. But here's the thing. Okay, and I know, I am being picky here. Is that a stronger argument for deceptive statistics in the absence of much of any statistics, or leaves out vital context? For him to make those claims without providing any backup, that feels more like a leaves out vital context argument to me. So I hear you. I want to wait and see if he brings up any actual statistics before I circle deceptive statistics. And I know he talked about, there's 7% voting in New York and so on. I want to wait and see if he gives us something a bit more tangible. So let's just wait a minute. Give him some more room. Let him cook, as it were. Okay, so we need more people to vote to try to drown out the extremes and bring the common sense middle to the fore.
On their phones.
Sorry, let me back up a little bit. Oh, sorry. We need to meet them where they are.
And the only way to do that is to get a lot more people voting. And the only way to do that is to meet the people where they are, on their phones.
All right, here we go, guys. 4 minutes in. He's got 7 minutes left.
About a decade or so ago, I helped run a lot of the campaigns around the U.S. to legalize Uber.
To legalize Uber? Okay. I didn't know that Uber was illegal. Was there some kind of like taxi law or something?
And I know that now when you guys think of Uber, it's this giant corporation. But back then, we were a tiny little tech startup. And taxi was this big, politically powerful industry who really didn't like us.
Oh, I didn't know there was big taxi out there. Well, that's interesting. I guess I could see it. Okay, so you worked for Uber 10 years ago. So that was after your time in politics or before?
And we knew we couldn't outmuscle them. And so instead, we turned to the people. And by making it possible for our customers to tell their elected officials, hey, I like this Uber thing, please leave it alone, we were able to mobilize millions of people through the app to advocate on our behalf. And when mayors and city council members started hearing from thousands of their constituents, that's exactly what they did.
But I thought that politicians don't listen to their constituents. Okay. Contradicts own point, fails to make argument. Like, wait a second. You just told us that politicians don't care about what their constituents want. What's good for anybody. They just care about getting elected next. But of course, if their constituents want a thing, and that would get them more votes. Well, maybe it's, I don't know. Can these things be true two things be true at the same time? I don't know. So But of course, you did this not for the purposes of improving people's lives, but improving the prospects of the company you worked for. So this was a business initiative. This wasn't some kind of like... This did not improve society. This improved the bottom line of the tech startup that you were working for. Nope, no cynicism in that or anything.
They left Uber alone. It's how we won in basically every market in the country.
Oh my God.
And while this was happening, I just remember sitting there thinking, God bless these people. They're making my job a lot easier. But my guess is they don't know who their city council member is. They don't vote in state senate primaries. And why would they?
What do you care? Why is that? I mean, especially at that time, since he's talking in retrospective, why would that matter to you? If I'm getting your story correct, you worked for Uber in some capacity, and you were trying to, I'm assuming through your governmental experience or legislative experience, help Uber invade the market nationwide, and you succeeded in doing so. But your concern was whether or not individual voters knew their city councilman. Okay, so now we have another problem that he's added to the list. So we have cynical politicians who are only acting for their own self-interest and re-election campaigns. We have apathetic electorates. We have electorate that is unfamiliar with their politicians. So you're going to solve the problem of cynical politicians, apathetic electorate, and uninformed or unfamiliar voters with their representative. This is all going to happen through a phone? Okay.
They're busy. They have kids. They have jobs. They have lives.
Uh-huh.
But when we made it really easy, when we let people reach their politicians directly from their phones, everything changed.
Yeah, they just probably hit a button or signed on to a petition or relayed a form letter or something, right? Are you going to tell us how that process worked? Was there really any direct or intimate involvement between the person holding the phone and taking the action to sign on to the messages to the politicians?
So what if we could vote this way?
What if Dr. Doom was Sorcerer Supreme? And I know that apparently they have made him Sorcerer Supreme in the comic books recently. Anyway.
So in 2017, we created the Mobile Voting Project.
The Mobile Voting Project, 2017. So we're 8 years on from the Mobile Voting Project. I've never heard of it.
And the first thing we did was work with election officials in 7 states, red and blue, where either deployed military or people with disabilities were able to vote in real elections on their phones.
Okay, so sort of like long distance absentee ballot kind of thing. 7 states. Okay.
Soldiers from West Virginia stationed in Afghanistan, people who were blind in Denver. In one election in Seattle, we let everyone participate, and after doing it for 2 years in a row, turnout tripled.
And look at the wonders. Look at the wonders of political competence that have overtaken cities like Seattle in the interim.
Denver did a poll of those who participated in their election, and 100%, so every single respondent said, yeah, I like pressing a button better than having to go somewhere.
And there be dragons.
Shocking, right?
Shocking. Yeah.
Other big news, water is wet and ice cream tastes good. But that was for specific groups of voters, and we wanted everyone to be able to vote securely on their phones.
Okay, now there's the key word. And this, of course, is the biggest concern I have with having too much technology involved in the voting process. Security. Now, and this is brought up in the other TEDx talk, which is, again, linked in the description if you want to watch that after the fact. This is my first and primary question. How do you make it secure? And especially these days. I'll withhold any more comment on what I'm thinking about. We'll see if he addresses it.
So 4 years ago, we started building our own mobile voting technology.
Oh, your own mobile voting app?
We're almost done. We're going to finish it this summer. And when we do, it's going to be free and open source to any government in the world that wants to use it.
Free and open sourced. Voting app. Please revisit the word securely.
And to be clear, this is just an additional way to vote. If you like voting by mail, vote by mail.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate having options. Let's go back to that word securely. Would you elaborate, please?
If you like voting in person, great, do that. Some people really like the ceremony that comes with going somewhere and waiting in line and all of that. And if that happens to be you, knock yourself out. But based on turnout, that's not most of you. So let's give people another option.
I'm all for options. You have 4 minutes left. Okay. He's got a lot of ground to cover in the next 4 minutes. He has to tell us how this is going to solve, and I hate to be a broken record, but just for reference sake, he has to tell us how this is going to solve politician selfishness, how it's going to solve voter apathy in general. I think he's attempting to answer that by saying ease of access will allow more people to vote. So I guess I'll take that as a partial answer. Now, what about voter familiarity with their politicians? And I think there was something else in there that I've now forgotten. There was at least 3 or 4 problems that he implicitly promised would be addressed by this.
So, as I mentioned before, and you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from New York, so I'm going to use that as the example for how it works.
Truth be told, unless it's like cartoonishly obvious, I'm terrible with accents. Like, you could have been from New Jersey for all I know.
I go on the App Store and I download the New York City Board of Elections app.
The New York City Board of Elections app.
And the first thing they do is say, okay, is Bradley really a registered voter here in New York City? I put in my address, fine.
Your address. Okay.
Next thing is multi-factor authentication. So you know how, like, when you forget your Google password, they send you a code and you put it back into the app? Same thing here. Then we take a scan of your...
Do they send it to the phone? Okay. Sorry, let me back up a little bit. All right, so I download the app, I put in my home address. They then send a code to presumably the phone I am holding while I'm accessing the app and putting in the address and everything.
Same thing here. Then we take a scan of your face.
Okay, so facial recognition.
Match that up against your government ID.
Match that against your government ID. Okay.
And at this point, we've fully established, okay, Bradley is really Bradley.
All right. Now, admittedly, I am not a technological super whiz. I know. I mean, I wear glasses. I read comic books when I was a kid in school, and this is before being a nerd was cool. Okay. But is that really a secure method when it comes to electronics? Here's a question. If they ask for a scan of my face, but I superimpose a photograph from a state ID I have already purloined in some way, shape, or form, and they scan the photo of the very photo they'll be referencing, would that not confirm the identity of the person there? Oh, it's probably just a fringe case, scribe. Such a thing could never really happen in any numbers that would matter.
Ballot pops up on my screen, and the ballot itself is simple and easy to use. And I go through it. I take my time, no rush. Whenever I'm ready, I hit submit, And when I hit submit, 3 things happen.
3 things happen. Well, I know one thing that happens. Catherine H. Thank you so very much, Catherine. Appreciate it. How is this not a way for people to steal your identity? Are these people against voter ID? Yeah, well, again, it's not only the security of the vote, but it's the security of the information. And maybe he'll address this in the next minute or two. It's possible. So maybe I'm jumping ahead. But I just saw a little video the other day on my X feed. I can't call it my Twitter feed anymore. That's not appropriate. Anyway, it was a video of a bot farm. It was racks of iPhones all hooked up to servers and AI engines and who knows what else. And all they were doing was they were acting as a bot farm. They were like promoting somebody on Instagram or pumping up the latest Disney movie on X or something. So is it impossible for phones to be cloned or addresses to be hijacked or anything in the first place? If someone does successfully clone my phone and vote before I am able to vote legitimately, am I then locked out? How do I prove that I wasn't the one that made that vote in the first place? What if I change my mind? Am I stuck? And then, where is the repository of all this personal information in the first place? My face, my facial recognition, my code, my address, who I voted for. Because if I go to the ballot box, I may have to verify my identity to get a ballot, but once I drop that ballot in the box, it is anonymous. So will I now be tied to my voting decisions in some way that someone could access or try to use against me in some way, shape, or form, or sell to somebody? These are the questions. And if he doesn't have some answers. Miranda Stone says California already uses this exact thing for unemployment during COVID. Same concerns remain. I mean, just because you can do a thing, should you do a thing? Get all very Ian Malcolm on the whole deal. Also, Angela Arriaga, good evening. And Data Wasteland, Tushy voting irregularities. I would vote for some tushes, I suppose.
First, my ballot is encrypted.
Encrypted? By whom?
Second, it's anonymized.
How?
Third, I get a tracking code, like if it were a FedEx package, so I can track the progress of my ballot all the way through the process.
And there's no possibility somebody could dupe or clone or fabricate a vote and weave it into the process?
Then it goes back to the New York City Board of Elections and they air gap it, which means they take it offline. Mm-hmm. And once my ballot is no longer connected to the internet, then they decrypt it, a paper copy is printed out, that gets mixed in with all of the other ballots. I know where my ballot stands because I can see from the tracking code that it was received, tabulated, printed, and so on. And the underlying code itself is open source, which means that anyone can audit it, anyone can verify it, it's totally transparent.
I know, this is my cynicism talking. There is I don't think it's a apocryphal example from World War II. I think it is actually true. That when it came to field artillery, just as those are the examples. And if I'm off on this in historical sense, I apologize, but just to make a point, that between the Germans and the U.S., the mechanisms to both open, load, close, and then fire field artillery with the Germans involved a lot of very ingenious steps and things to turn and screws to latch and all types. I mean, very, very complex, very elegant sort of mechanisms to make their artillery go. And the United States just had a pull a lever, it go boom, put in next shell, pull lever, it go boom. And the German artillery classically had a lot of problems in operating because you had so many different points of failure whereas the American artillery had very few in comparison. So with each one of these steps and complications in the process that he's listing, as well as the fact that this is all going over the internet into a cloud, onto a database and a server somewhere, etc., it doesn't set my mind any more at ease. Now, I understand you could say, well, Scribe, what about doing anything online, whether it's your banking or otherwise? I mean, encryption and security procedures and everything else are probably about as good as they're going to get, and all things considered. I know. But tell me there have been no data breaches from foreign entities, either independent or government-backed. And if you made voting on your phone common enough that it had sway over the outcomes of elections, I don't know. Maybe it's just my old fuddy-duddy Luddite ways here, but I'm not convinced.
To me, that's a lot more secure than the way we vote right now.
Is it? Really? How many hands does it have to go through? How many different handshakes? And anyway, Mr. Tickletrunk, we're in a cloud. Yes, Mr. Tickletrunk, we are all in a cloud right now, a cloud of atoms. Because if you could see all the empty space that actually makes up the matter around us, technically, everything you see, every person is just a cloud of little bits moving through a cloud of other little bits. I know, I just blew your mind.
And we've already built it, we've already paid for it, and we're giving it away to anyone who wants to use it for free.
Wow, a one-size-fits-all solution. Okay, let's say I stipulate to it. You have streamlined the voting process. You've made it more accessible. You may, in some way, shape, or form, have solved one of the problems you have listed. And that's just participation, which is no small potatoes, I'll grant you. What does that have to do with the proverbial price of tea in China when it comes to politician engagement or the cynicism thereof or anything else? Sure. He's Nobel Peace Prize oncoming, guys. Now, again, there has to be some concession to concern. There has to be. You have to at least concede there are people who would be skeptical and reassure them. The only thing so far is security. Anything else you'd like to mention?
And with a little more work, I think we could do even more.
What kind of work do you still need to do? I thought it was ready to go.
We could register people to vote on the app.
And wouldn't that be wondrous?
We could give voters nonpartisan information about candidates or ballot measures. So
There is no nonpartisan information about candidates or ballot measures. And who would be deciding what information gets to the eyeballs of the voter? Yeah, registering people. Yeah, I'm sure that could not be abused in any way, shape, or form.
actually know what you're voting on. And versions of
That's what the voters pamphlet is for. If you just want to reprint the voters pamphlet that they put out every cycle with the statements from the candidates verbatim as they wrote them and the actual descriptions of the bills or statements from organizations in favor or against, that's perfectly fine. But almost none of that is quote-unquote nonpartisan to begin with, so I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
this already do exist.
Yeah.
Mobile voting in a way exists in Estonia. They use it in party elections in the UK. Some municipalities here in Canada use it.
Oh, this talk takes place in Canada? I did not know that, or I missed that at the beginning.
But not in the US and not in most democracies. And
Why? Why? Not to start going into the song again, but tell me why. What is the barrier? What is preventing this from being more widely adopted? Whether it's a legitimate concern in your eyes or not, what is the obstacle?
but not in the US and not in most democracies. And that's where the hard part really kicks in.
Because why? Tell us Tell us what you're running into, and then assure us that it's not the problem people think it is.
Getting politicians to let us use our phones to vote in elections, because in my experience, people in power don't like making it easier for other people to gain power.
Okay, so is this where how do we solve for this problem is, and he turns to the audience and says, you can make all the difference. Contact your politicians. Say, I want mobile voting today. We'll make it as popular as Uber in 2 years.
And that's, yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm here.
That's why you're here? You know your life's purpose?
Because they're not just going to do it if I ask nicely. They're not just going to do it if I snarl at the libertarians on X or at the liberals on Blue Sky. They're only going to do it if you make it happen.
The libertarians on X? Is that who hangs out on X? That's not what I hear.
If we all make it happen. And we can.
How?
Every major right that has ever been won anywhere. The right to vote, the Civil Rights Act, the Americans with Disabilities Act, same-sex marriage, anything has only happened because enough people stood up loud enough and long enough and demanded their rights, and eventually the status quo had to give in.
Okay, well, everyone has the right to vote. You're just talking about a method. So don't overplay your hand here.
And we can do that here too. We can make voting easier and a lot more secure.
I think Election Day should be a national holiday. I've always thought that. Election Day should be a national holiday. Just everybody, as many people as possible. Obviously, not everybody gets the day off, but, more people should have the day off to go vote, as I think. Or just make sure that Election Day falls on a weekend. Something like that. Thank you, Attribution, so much. He's a salesman. Screw him. He's trying to do what he did with Uber, but worse. Never trust a salesman. And that's always the thing. He's putting the best shine possible on something. And so far, save for the listing of all the security steps, he hasn't even addressed the concerns. Like, well, if all politicians, all they want to do is prevent people from having power. Is that really the only concern that politicians have voiced to this guy? I mean, there hasn't been anything else. There hasn't been any other questions, any other concerns, any hesitations. It's just politicians are bad. Well, I hate to tell him this, but opening up voting to more people through their phones is still going to put politicians into power. So if... I'm not quite sure how you move the needle by constantly and rhetorically bad-mouthing the people who are in charge of allowing your project to go forward. You might want to sugarcoat things just a smidge. But yeah, no, he's a salesman. He's a salesman. And so there's always a measure of doubt with a salesman.
We can bring regular people back into the process.
Regular people. So people who vote right now aren't regular people.
We can take power away from the extremes.
You can take power away from the extremes. Okay.
We can end the dysfunction and polarization that plagues our society today.
Okay, sorry. I cut him off before he finished his ridiculous statement. But okay, guys, mobile voting is a societal panacea.
The process. We can take power away from the extremes. We can end the dysfunction and polarization that plagues our society today. We can give our politicians the cover and the courage they need to work together and to finally get things done. We can do all of this in...
Okay. No.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Right?
No. The answer is no. Okay. It's don't overpromise. Don't overpromise. Your phone app is not a societal panacea. It will not bring about world peace. It's not going to make people see across the aisle and shake the hand of their fellow politician and, oh, everything will be fine again and we'll reach the middle ground and da-da. No, stop it. Just, dude.
We need to work together and to finally get things done. We can do all of this in the next 10 years. We can do it with mobile voting. Thank you.
Wait a standing ovation? A standing ovation? Okay. Are the people in the front several rows his employees or like paid shills or something? Like, really? A standing ovation. I don't believe you. Oh man, at least he went out on a high note, right? Promising the world. Promising the absolute world. Oh boy, guys, mobile voting. It's gonna cure us of all that ills. Cure us of all that ills. All right, I'm gonna go over to the bingo card one more time by myself. If you guys have arguments for squares to be circled, hold on to them, and I'll get to you momentarily. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, Scribe, he was talking about letting everybody vote. Obviously means inclusion. No, he wasn't talking about DEI. That never came up. As far as I can tell. If you've got an argument elsewise, by all means. Word salad. I have a hard time circling word salad because not everything, but he never went like off into La La Land or something. It was coherent. Whether or not it was all on point, we'll go over that in a couple other circles. But of course, if you have an argument, hold on to it. Frosted Glass, thank you so much. If you're too apathetic to vote IRL, you shouldn't vote. Everybody has the right to vote. If somebody's apathetic and just throws a dart at a dartboard to make a decision, that's their prerogative. Miranda Stone, I'd stand too if everyone else was. So, Miranda Stone, if everybody was jumping off of a bridge into a pile of cotton candy, I suppose you would do that too. All right. Okay, Miranda. Very well. Where was I? Let's see. Word salad. Not so sure. A list. Yes, he gave us a list of all the things that it would cure and all the problems that it would somehow solve and la-di-da-di-da, gobbledygook, whatever. Nonsense. Marginalization. I mean, I guess technically he was talking about the voters that felt disenfranchised or not listened to by their political leaders and such. So, yes, at least in spirit, if not directly. Patriarchy, no. Feminism, no. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. Is mobile voting new? I mean, I can't say that I'd heard of it before, but does that count as a new buzzword or buzz phrase? Systemic or institutional, we talked about the current system of elections and voting and the institutions thereof, so sure. Anecdote that probably never happened. Well, his closer wasn't an anecdote, it was just a wishful thinking kind of thing. I'm not quite sure any anecdotes he gave us. He said that, the city council vote in New York only had 7%. That seems like a weird example to use. I would have used like the mayoral election. or maybe the state Senate race or something. I'm not quite sure whether the city council vote was the one he honed in on. But, yeah. White supremacy, he never talked about race. Childhood or family anecdote? No, he never talked about his family. Leaves out vital context. Boy, howdy. Did he ever? He didn't explain how this was going to solve all those other problems. He just said that it would, amongst other things. Weightless example or non sequitur? I'm trying to think. There was so much in there. I mean, he brought up taxes. He brought up climate, that everybody has the same ideas on it. And also like politicians' motivations. If they're all motivated by just getting elected next, then nothing. And also, was the Uber thing? Well, no, the Uber thing was his template for how to change. Yeah, okay, I'll leave that. I'm sure there's something in there, but I'm a little scattered right now. Sales pitch for product or service. I think so. I don't know why I didn't circle that earlier. That's an obvious one. Privilege. Well, yes, in the sense that he was saying that the extremes and the people who donate or the power players are the only ones that make the decisions ultimately. They're the ones that possess all the power and the ability to make change, or is deprived from the rest of the people. Collectivize his own demographic. I mean, the closest you could get, as far as I can tell, was him saying, you might be able to tell by my accent that I'm from New York. Like, I mean, maybe. Is that enough? You tell me. Self-vilification or wretchedness? No. Economic disparity? Yes, because again, he talked about the moneyed interests having a lot of control of the outcomes to elections and such versus those who didn't. Benevolent condescension. Yeah, this will cure everything, guys. This is a perpetual motion machine, endless energy forever. Talking about total panacea, utopian ideals like that's nonsense. Plays victim. Not that I recall. He didn't really talk about himself as the subject so much, save for his Uber example, and that he had experience in politics. I didn't really hear a victim narrative there. Okay, now I know this is going to be controversial again, but someone's going to have to make a decent argument to me about deceptive statistics. He used statistics. He talked about 7% was the voting turnout for the New York City Council election last cycle. And that was meant to be used. Well, maybe I'm arguing myself out of it. That was meant to be used as an example of the apathy of the electorate and their non-participation. But that still seems odd to me that he would pick the city council election of all things to highlight that. Like, why not the mayoral election or the governor or the gubernatorial election or something where, more people have a say within New York, just the New York City Council. Yeah, you know what? I talked myself into it. That was such a granular example. He didn't even bring up as far as I can recall. Well, he said 2/3 of the electorate voted in the presidential election, or something. Yeah, you know what? Now I talked myself into it. It was a bit too selective, bit too cherry picking there. And lastly, microaggressions or unconscious bias. Well, he did try to assure somehow that the information relayed and the app would be nonpartisan, as in to avoid bias. I might be stretching here just a smidge, but we really need to re-examine that square, I think, because we don't hear microaggressions come up very often anymore, or unconscious bias. We might need to revise that square. I think I might have mentioned that previously. But if there's a square that probably needs an overhaul, it's that one. So benefit of the doubt and benefit to the hazy definitions, I'm going to circle that one. All right, so that is the card as I have it. If you have arguments for squares not yet circled, please put them in the chat. Don't say scroll up. I'm not going to scroll up except for the first time around. So there you go. Miranda Stone is a sheep. I was under the impression that she was a vibrant woman. But hey, in this day and age, who can tell? Let's see here. Scrolling. Keep them doggies scrolling. Okay, I've already answered that one. I've already circled that square. Colleen Bernier. And why not include Illinois since he worked with Blagojevich for a few... Oh, you see, I have absolutely no idea who this guy is or what his background is. He worked with Rob Blagojevich. Oh my gosh. You know, selling seats and such. Blagojevich. Let's see. Scroll down, scroll sideways. Okay, I appreciate that at least. You share my pain. Rosen. Keep them doggies Rosen? Okay. Let's see. Pope Tyrannus, the stat he used is a lie. He said the turnout for council election he said the turnout for council election has never been 7%. The last 4 cycles are 28, 26, 26, 23. Okay. Well, I couldn't have known that within the context of the talk itself, but I'll take your word for it, so there you go. Abdicatus, that bit about gun confiscation was deceptive. At best, the data says the majority is okay with gun control generically, not confiscation, and even those surveys are suspect. Again, deceptive statistics has been circled. So however you want to, slice that pumpkin, if that's even a phrase, it's been taken care of. So any other arguments for squares not yet circled? Abdicatus, he played victim to Big Taxi when talking about Uber. Ooh, well, was he talking about playing victim, or did you just hit a difficulty for the sake of his employer's needs and wants? Not really playing victim. Seemed like a business complication. I don't know. I need something where he, the individual, was giving us a victim narrative. Not a war story in a business context. That seems a bit too far. And also, it is a bingo square, so the bar is relatively high. He said they hated Uber and him. That didn't really come across to me as a victim narrative. Just came across as a story of self-congratulations over having overcome Big Taxi. Blitz Zero keeps scrolling. Now I'm at the bottom of the list now. So if I've missed your argument for a square not yet circled, you're going to have to just repaste it. Advocatus, he played victims to politicians as far as getting phone voting going. Wait, he said he was a politician. No, he didn't say he was a politician. He said he worked in politics. So, unless he... But again, I can only operate on what he told us in the talk. He never said I was the representative of this. He said he's worked in politics. So I assume he's some kind of consultant or advisor or pollster or something, some marketing guy. Whether he was a politician or held public office, he never mentioned that, so. Scribelight plays victim. He says he and people like him aren't being represented in elections due to the extremes. Okay. And I'm just being quiet. I'm just thinking for a second, just trying to make sure, because I don't want to be too fast on the trigger here. Okay. So, if we take his... Okay, we started out the talk by making broad generalizations about people and also kind of projecting his own, concerns and insecurities on everybody else. So... And I guess he was playing representative of the problem in that he, too, was in some way, shape, or form a victim of the lack of voter participation. Okay. I'm not just doing it because you said so. It does just meet the line in the way that he was using that to push the idea that everybody in the audience, him included, was being somehow deprived of a genuine outcome and a utopian result. So I guess I am a benevolent host. What can I say?
Bingo.
What? Bingo! Yeah!
Of course, of course.
All right, so we have our first bingo, perhaps our only bingo. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? And did Alexander show up? If he didn't, if you're not out there, Alexander, or if you are and you just haven't posted in a while, I asked if you wanted a serious or a silly birthday song. I would prefer that you were present when I perform such a thing. So if not this stream, then the next one I see you on, if you're watching this in the future or on replay, just request it and your request shall be fulfilled. K. Roberts. Hey all, hope it was enlightening. Oh boy, howdy K. Roberts, let me tell you. This guy offered us a cure for everything that ails us. You know what another name for that kind of thing is? Snake oil. But yeah, when you catch up, oh boy, are you in for a treat. Any other arguments, guys? Is he in the Discord server? I think so. Pretty sure. But it really doesn't work unless I'm doing it live. Got to do it live. Got to do it live. Any other arguments, guys? If we only have one bingo tonight, that's fine. The goal is not to fill up the card. It's nice sometimes when we do or get multiple bingos, but one bingo's, hey. Advocaz Diaboli at the last second. He collectivized New Yorkers as opinionated. He is right, but he still did it. You know what? You're literally correct. He did collectivize his own demographic, i.e. New Yorkers. We New Yorkers, yeah. Okay. All right. It doesn't get to a bingo, but does fill up another square. So there you oh no, I for a second I thought it did, and I just didn't realize. No, DEI is not there because he didn't talk about that at all. But there you go. And Adabisi, salesmen are good speakers. No, bows are good speakers. Salesmen, they just have a gift for gab. Well, if they're good salesmen. I've met a few bad salesmen in my day. But it does make a pyramid. It's true, yes, we do have a pyramid there. So walk like an Egyptian, if you please. But anyway, everybody, I'm going to call it there. As always, if you have arguments for squares to be circled after the broadcast has concluded, just leave a comment in the comments, or you can always make an argument for yourself, or for your argument. Argument for your argument over on the Discord server. Link to the Discord server is in the chat right now. Click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watched the stream, are not a bot who could conceivably be cloning someone's phone and submitting a fake vote, and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. Today's secret word is, how about Uber? Yeah, just say hello, Uber, and I'll know that you watched the show. Also, I might as well do all this other stuff too. Keeverdam helpfully reminds that I have a merchandise store. Yes, guys, in the chat. The last item that was apparently sold on my merchandise store, I had to look this up the other day because I got a notice about something and had to log into that account, was like June of last year or something. So if you'd like a Pepperjack shirt, if you'd like a Moonbase shirt, if you'd like a TEDXcellence Scribe Light coffee mug, which are pretty good, I have one of my own, you can find a link to that in the description below. And check it out. And support the channel. and get a cool little piece of Scribe merchandise. Also, I forgot to mention at the top of the chat, guys, or top of the chat, top of the show. If you did not already know, and if you've forgotten already, I wouldn't blame you if you did, because these things pass so quickly. Your viewing of this broadcast only counts, or soon will only count, if you as well engage with the show. And at minimum, that requires a like and or a comment left after the fact. So if you have not already, please do leave a like on your way out, or a dislike. I guess the engagement is the engagement. And anything else? Gosh, am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything. I hope not. Programming note, I should be, unless month-end billing overtakes me, I should be present on the panel for Midnight's Edge in the morning, tomorrow morning, Friday morning at 9:05 a.m. Pacific Time, noon 05 p.m. Eastern Time, where we'll talk about movies and Happy Gilmore 2 and what else? Fantastic Four and the new James Bond writer and who knows what else. All types of stuff. I'm sure that'll come up tomorrow. And then Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, will be Dog, Cat, Fox, and Friend, where I'll go over some news stories over the course of the week that I found interesting. Maybe you'll find them interesting too, because it's me and Dog, Cat, Fox. Wowie, wow, wow. Yes, Dog, Cat, Fox and I will be talking about interesting news stories from the week. Anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. But anyway, what's this? Scribelight. It's like when Found disappeared when you wanted to congratulate them on the baby. Yes. And so now my next quest is to sing happy birthday to the Alexander. Whether serious or silly, it's up to him. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, either to myself or to Angela Arriaga's GoFundMe, pinned to the top of the chat box. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. Very much appreciate it. And with that, everyone, I hope you have a good rest of your Thursday evening. I hope your Friday ahead of you is pleasant, especially those of you that have to deal with month-end stuff like I do. And your weekend as well is a fun and relaxing one. And otherwise, I hope you're all safe and well. And if you're not well, please get well soon. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.